What is everybody? Daniel Rocks here, back here again on our video. 2000 year in review continues with WWF's Judgment Day. And just like Backlash, this show is fucking great. You have the main event, the Ironman match, Triple H versus The Rock for the WWF Championship belt. We have a 6-man tag team match to start out. We have a great European Championship match. And of course, a phenomenal Intercontinental title match between Benoit and Jericho once again. This is Judgment Day 2000. This show is almost as good as Backlash. Not as quite, but it's still a great show to watch. It is still one of the greatest shows of all time, in my opinion. So we start out with Too Cool and Rikishi defeating Kurt Angle, Edge, and Christian in a 6-man tag team match. Before the match even started, Edge, Christian, and Kurt Angle came out to the Louisville crowd, and they mocked the ever-living crowd out of them. Here they have jugs and straw hats and washboards and stupid little buck teeth. And they playing the banjos. They go out there. They make fun of how Louisville, and they say for the first time soap was invented just mere years ago. And they say, hope y'all enjoyed it. Oh my God. Edge and Christian, and of course Kurt Angle. Fucking funny as hell. Edge and Christian was always my favorite tag team of all time. Funny shit opening. But this match was very good. Too Cool and Rikishi gets the victory. Kurt Angle was a little late on stopping the count. Very good 6-man tag team match. 3 stars, 6 out of 10. Next up we have Eddie Guerrero defeating his former allies in Dean Malenko and Perry Saturn to retain the European Championship belt. At this point in time, the Radicals are no longer together, or at least Eddie Guerrero is out of the Radicals as he joined, as him and China was an item here. This was a solid European Championship match, a very solid match. Eddie Guerrero would retain, and it was good. 6.5 out of 10. Next up, Shane McMahon defeats The Big Show in a very we'll say entertaining match. Now, in my Backlash review, I actually forgot a match. I forgot to mention the Kurt Angle versus Big Show match, with Big Show came out being the showster, coming out looking like Hulk Hogan, acting like Hulk Hogan. Funny shit. Big Show in this time was being a personality wreck comedy guy. He's being Hulk Hogan, being Rikishi, being Val Venus. The show Boski. Big Show overall is just being funny, making fun of himself and stuff. And Shane McMahon did not like him being this comedy character, whatever. Shane McMahon was managing The Big Show at WrestleMania, but these two are now adversaries again. This match is definitely the weakest on the card. It's still an okay match. The problem with this match is there's a whole lot of interferences. You had Test and Albert coming out, and a whole lot of guys coming out to help Shane McMahon win this match. And at long last, he does by burying Big Show with a whole lot of stage equipment. It was decent. I actually give it a 5. Next up, we have Chris Benoit defeating Chris Jericho to retain the Intercontinental Championship belt. This was a submission match. This was, while not as good as their Backlash match, it is still a very good match. Benoit would get the submission victory. This was a match. An 8 out of 10. 4 stars. Great stuff. Next up, we have a tables match with Road Dogg and X-Pac defeating the Dudley Boys. Also, very good match. 6 out of 10. Then finally we get to the main event, an Ironman match. A 60-minute Ironman match for the World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Championship belt. Now, This is the Attitude Era. And by putting a 60-minute Ironman match in a crowd that, quite frankly, has ADD, has attention deficit disorder like crazy, you would think that this would not blow over so well. You would think this Ironman match would just go on and would just drag on, and the crowd would just get bored with it. Hell no! This crowd is awake and is pumped from the beginning to the very, very end. There is no dull moments whatsoever. This Ironman match is the best Ironman match there is. I know a lot of people would praise Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels, but to be honest, that match was, yes, there were a lot of wrist holds and wrist locks. There was a lot of dead spots, but that's what you have to do to keep an Ironman match going. But the problem was with that match is, quite frankly, it just kind of dragged on and on. To me, that Ironman match between Bret and Shawn's a little overrated. I'm sorry. But this match was just so much better than that match. And this was just so much done better. Instead of just having one fall, you have several falls. You had 11 falls. 11 victories. You had 6 for Triple H and 5 for The Rock, as Triple H would win and regain his World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Championship belt. The Rock would lose the title. Now, this Ironman match is fucking phenomenal. One of the finest matches you'll ever find in the Attitude Era, or any era, or of all time, period. 5 stars, 10 out of 10. Now, at the very end of the match, we had about 2 minutes left. Out comes DX. Out comes the McMahons. They interfere. They attack The Rock. And then all of a sudden, you get this vignette, which has been playing weeks. And for weeks leading up to Judgment Day. And at the end it says, Judgment Day is here. And it says, are you scared? He's here. And then out comes the fucking Undertaker on a motorcycle. A fucking motorcycle. The Undertaker in a trench coat, a bandana and sunglasses, and a fucking motorcycle comes out, and the crowd goes fucking ape shit. The crowd goes ape shit. Out comes the fucking Undertaker, American badass. I am an American badass. And then out comes the Undertaker. He beats the shit out of DX. Chokeslam Triple H, tombstones him. Shawn Michaels, who I forgot to mention was the special referee, calls for the DQ for the interference. For some reason, he calls for the interference, but not for the DX interference. Whatever. So, he calls for the interference, and Triple H wins the title by getting his ass kicked by the return of the Undertaker. This match is fucking awesome. 10 out of 10. Now, I know a lot of people do not like the American Badass version of The Undertaker. I, however, fucking do. I loved the American Badass slash Big Evil, the biker gimmick Taker. American Badass, Big Evil Taker. I love the biker gimmick. Fucking great stuff. Coming out with I Am American Badass, coming out to Rollin' by Limp Bizkit, and then You've Done It Now, You've Done It, Made a Big Mistake, all that shit. I like Biker Taker. Anyways, Judgment Day 2000 goes down as being one of the finest pay-per-views you'll ever see. The Iron Man match ends 6-5 for Triple H's victory. Triple H is your new World Wrestling Federation champion again, and this would go down in history as one of the finest pay-per-views you're going to get. The Undertaker, as a motorcyclist, comes back, and a whole lot of other crap to happen. This is a phenomenal show, a great show, one of the finest shows you're going to find. I give this an easy recommendation and a rating of a 7 out of 10. Not as great as Backlash, but still a very damn good show. I'll catch you next time for ECW's Hardcore Heaven, and by the time I get to the WWF, the next pay-per-view it goes down to the King of the Ring. Bye.